When Bonnie Meyer moved to Pierce County, she found a nice home in a nice neighborhood. But what she couldn't see was hurting her. Bonnie and 2 of her children have since developed asthma.
I think it is directly related to the air quality in the neighborhood. We can smell the smoke just driving up to the driveway, and basically between my car and my house, I get choked up and I can't breathe very well because it's just very thick. You can almost see a dense fog over the neighborhood.
In the Tacoma-Pierce County region, smoke coming from fireplaces and wood-burning stoves is causing the air to become so dirty that conditions have reached toxic levels.
The problem overall is that we are exposing people to high levels of pollution that's really dangerous. There was a study done in Pierce County that shows when these levels go up, we actually had more visits to the emergency room related to asthma. So it's a serious health problem.
Thank you. It hurts my lungs to be where there's smoke, and it kind of sucks because, there's nothing I can do about it.
The way I feel, we all deserve some clean air, because it does hurt to have to try to breathe. We have no choice, we have to breathe.
It's the fine particles found in wood smoke that can trigger asthma attacks.
They're not visible to the human eye. They're able to travel very deeply into our bodies, and that's one of the reasons that they're associated with this host of health effects. Increased heart attack, increased stroke, and even premature death. And fine particles affect everyone. Even healthy people are susceptible when levels are high, and they especially affect those that we would consider sensitive populations. So sensitive populations include the very young and the very old, so children, the elderly, and also people with pre-existing health conditions.
Let's go.
Jan Rolstad has chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and his condition is made worse by wood smoke. But he recognizes that this pollution problem isn't an easy fix.
Telling people not to have a fire is really kind of striking at a deeply held tradition that human beings have had. I mean, we have literally evolved into being human beings, being Homo sapien, while using fire. There's a million positive associations with fireplaces and fires, and even the smell of wood smoke can be very pleasing, But once people get some factual understanding of what's going on, then they maybe have to revise their thinking a little bit and maybe disassociate fires from just being purely positive to having a cost. By dumping smoke into the air, what you're essentially saying is, I think it's okay for your children to breathe the toxic discharge from my fireplace. And is that really something you want to say? Because in effect, that's what you're doing.
Air quality measured at this school in Tacoma violates federal clean air standards, and the Puget Sound Clean Air Agency is now tasked with bringing those levels down.
I'm Kim Cole, an air pollution inspector with the Clean Air Agency. We're in a stage 1 burn ban. We're out patrolling looking for folks who are burning in their fireplace or wood stove.
Burn bans are called when air quality deteriorates and there's not enough wind to disperse wood smoke.
We're documenting with photographs, and we're documenting the address, and we'll be sending out notices of violations.
But Clean Air Agency officials are looking to take more drastic measures.
Tacoma has about 60,000 wood-burning devices. You're talking about dealing with people's houses and people's homes and choices that they want to have control over. So you better have the community's input in designing the solutions when you're talking about that kind of challenge.
In the coming years, residents may be required to switch to cleaner heating options or to replace older wood-burning stoves with newer EPA-certified devices. This isn't good news for Stephen and Gretchen Smith. They get firewood for free and burn it in an older, uncertified stove.
I manage the finances in the home, and if we didn't have the wood stove, there is no room in our budget for increased electric bills.
I think people are in survival mode right now, and I think maybe 10 years from now, maybe less, if the economy gets up and running, I think the situation would be a lot different for people, but I think people are burning right now because it's really come of a necessity.
It's messy, it's dirty, it's hard labor. We don't necessarily choose to burn wood. It's We burn it because it's available to us. And if we had something else to use and it wasn't going to, break our back to get it, we would do it in a heartbeat.
Ken Reid used to have a wood-burning stove like the Smiths, but he made the switch to an EPA-certified stove 4 years ago. For him, it made economic sense.
A lot of people don't think, well, the EPA-certified wood stoves are really just there to lower emissions and they're not going to help me out any. And that's just wrong. You lower your emissions by 90% with an EPA-certified wood stove on average. And you increase your efficiency of use of that wood by a third. So it's a third less wood you have to buy, it's a third less work you have to do to season it, to move it, go get it in the first place. And so it pays for itself relatively quickly if you view it with those things in mind.
With the average EPA-certified stove costing $2,500, it would cost tens of millions to replace all the uncertified wood stoves in Pierce County. And the question remains, who will bear that cost?
It's a challenge for all of us, not just Tacoma, not just in the winter, but year-round it's a challenge for all of us because we've reached a point where we've reduced pollution from a lot of the usual suspects, and now if we're going to have cleaner air, we really have to look at the choices we're individually making.
It's public space. We all own it. Some people shouldn't ruin it for the rest of us. It's not socially acceptable to throw your garbage in the middle of the street. Why is it okay to throw your garbage in the air? Oh, it's so pretty.